Wish you a very good evening, Dhamma friends. Today, September 11th, which is Saturday, we are going to begin this evening Sutta study class with Anapanasathi Sutta. I'm very happy to have you in this program because this gives a lot of inspiration for us to continue our practice on the Dhamma and also to move forward in the analysis of the Dhamma in particular section we are discussing. As a monk, I have so many things to focus, but one of the interesting things is this discussion because of the reason I just mentioned, and also this allows me to find out more about the sutta that is being discussed for the day. And at the same time, when you think about the Dhamma in different point of view in your own way, so that you could find a lot of interesting things in the Dhamma. One of the discourses I always appreciate is Satipatthana. So when you read something about Satipatthana, you always come across something new. That kind of good things come out when you read the discourse, when you analyze it, when you think over and over again. So this sutta that we discuss has been taken into discussion many times in my life, and every time I enjoyed it. So that basically the sutta study class is one of the interesting thing for me, and I hope you do well. You think in the same way because you all love to study Buddhism from the primary sources called suttas. Without further ado, let us begin this evening sutta study class by paying our homage to the Buddha. I will recite Namo Tassa 3 times in Pali and in English to pay our due respect to the Supreme Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends, we are discussing the Sutta number 118 in Majjhima Nikaya, that is Anapanasathi Sutta. We spent 2 weeks to discuss the Anapanasathi Sutta up to this level, where we find the development of 4 foundation of mindfulness, what we call Satipatthana. So today we begin the discussion about the Satipatthana, how we develop Satipatthana in the in and out breathing meditation. That is our main focus. So as we mentioned in the flyer, we try our best to discuss the 7 factors for enlightenment too in this Sutta study class. If not, we'll take it for another week. What we are doing here is saying Satipatthana in Anapanasati. This is because we have it in the Anapanasati discourse, and theoretically it is happening, and also we can see that in our practice. When we practice Anapanasati, we can see the 4 foundation of mindfulness clearly in that practice. That is a significant thing. So the way to develop Satipatthana and 7 factors for enlightenment through mindfulness of in and out breathing is as the Buddha, so that we try our best to understand it. I know that many of you have been in this meditation for a long time, therefore it's not that difficult for you to get this understanding, because this is a mixture of theory as well as experience. As you remember, we discussed the 16 steps of Anapanasati last week. If we take the Anapanasati as single, and individual steps, we can see 32, starting from Digang Vasa Santo Digang Asa Samiti Pajanati. I breathe in, you breathe in, long understanding that you and me, breathing in long. Then when we breathe out, it is the second one. Like that, we have 32 if we take them as single steps, but we always take them as couple because it is easy, and it is how the Sutta mentioned Digangva and Rasangva, and then they have all steps the other way around. So, but when we discussed that last week, this is only a kind of overview. So we happen to discuss that when we start the Anapanasati, we begin with the first one because it is easier for many people. Those who do not have experience on Anapanasati can find this particular gradual method is easier for them. So you look at your body and then slowly establish your awareness. Somewhere you could easily understand the breath. Basically, Parimukang Sating, that's one point we discussed at during last discussion. So it's according to the sources, the Parimukang Sating is somewhere over here in front of your face. Then we can easily, see this breath in and out breathing when with their variation, and it leads to us to know that the breath itself is going to settle, and then we have kind of develop capacity in mind to know these changes, and we discuss that hindrances are gone with this undivided attention to the breath and their changes. As a result, you have piti and sukha and all the good feelings. So entering into feeling section of the Satipatthana, we discussed those steps in Anapanasati. Then we were able to understand how our attention prominently goes to mind, clear, making ourselves entering into Chittanupasana of the Satipatthana. Then Dhammanupasana is there with the last 4 steps, last tetra. So that's how we discussed the 16th step of Anapanasati as a matter of learning as well as teaching. And then we of course discuss that those experienced meditators can quickly go through all these 16 steps because they have experience, they have done it before, so that they know the path to maturity of Anapanasati. In other words, attaining to Samadhi level, jhana level could be easily done by those individuals who have been practicing Anapanasati. And then that kind of things we discussed last week with some questions. And now we move on to the next section, how Anapanasati could lead to develop four foundation of mindfulness. Famously, we call Satipatthana. Satipatthana has been an English word now, so that many people understand that word, that Pali word Sati and Patthana, Sati Upatthana. The scholars have different opinions. I'm not a scholar on Pali, but I know some Pali to understand the Dhamma, so that I do not go to break down these words. Grammar in Pali is very specific, and if I don't want to make mistakes by breaking these words from different places, so that I just mentioned that Satipatthana means establishing clear mindfulness, clear awareness. That's what it means. So this word is famous, now, so that we can use it even for non-Sri Lankan and those who do not know, Sinhala and Pali could understand this word now. Satipatthana, if you look at the Satipatthana discourses, are the clear and direct path for some purposes, including nirvana. So let me remind you the first purpose of Satipatthana, Sattanang Visuddhya. Then that means the purification of beings. When one practices Satipatthana as a whole, the result is the purification of his mind or her mind. Then Soka Pariddavanang Samatikamaya, the way to overcome sorrow and lamentation is the Satipatthana. Then Dukkha Domanassanang Attangama, even to surmounting, even to surmount or kind of avoid to the suffering, both physical and mental, one has to practice Satipatthana. Then Nyaya Sadhigamaya, to gain knowledge about mind and body and also about supernormal powers. This is the path, Satipatthana. And finally, very important thing is Nibbanasa Satchikiriyaya. Attaining Nibbana, realizing Nibbana is also happened due to the development of Satipatthana. So these are the 5 purposes the Buddha mentioned with Satipatthana, Ekainavayang Bhikkhu and so on. It shows that Satipatthana, just forget about the last one, Nibbanasa Satchikiriyaya. Satipatthana brings us a lot. Mental purification, right? It's mean clear meditation gives us the mental purification. So Satipatthana has included both Samatha and Vipassana meditation. If we want to divide the meditation into 2, we can see both meditation in the Satipatthana. So that is Satipatthana. I do not want to go on to Satipatthana in details, but we need to address it into a certain extent like this in order to understand what exactly happened here in the Anapanasati Sutta. So now you know what is Satipatthana and how it is being developed and what are the purposes of it. And when you look at the Anapanasati, nothing strange happened. The same thing, but in a different way. Let me read the section where we start the development of Satipatthana in Anapanasati so that we can go to a discussion. And how bhikkhus do the 4 foundation of mindfulness develop and cultivated, fulfill the 7 factors. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong line. How bhikkhus Does mindfulness of breathing, developed and cultivated, fulfill the four foundations of mindfulness? That is the Buddha's question, and the answer is given by the Buddha himself. Bhikkhus, on whatever occasion, a bhikkhu breathing in long, understand I breathe in long. Breathing out long, understand I breathe out long. Breathing in short, I understand I breathe in short. Breathing out short, understand I breathe out short. Train thus. I shall breathe in experiencing the whole body, and I shall breathe out experiencing the whole body. I shall breathe in tranquilizing the whole, the bodily formation. I shall breathe out tranquilizing the bodily formation. On that, so those are the four basic steps of Anapanasati that you know. So when we start Anapanasati meditation, we are going to know the long in-breath and out-breath, short in-breath and out-breath, and then when the when we experience the bodily formation, what we call Kaya Sankara, the whole the breath and the entire body, we know that this is happening. And then tranquilizing the bodily formation. Now we are going to calm down. Actually, it happens when the first step is taken well. There is a part of it that you go to automatically, but I'm very careful to say that, because some people say that then everything happens automatically. No, but type of automatic gear is there for you to go, and you have to pay attention for that. So that's what I wanted today. Type of awareness is there always, and wisdom should play a big role there, because nothing happens on their own automatically. So you have to pay attention. So you see that bodily formation, Kaya Sankara, which means the whole breath in and out, is going to tranquilize, subtle and deep. So that is what happened in the first tetra of Anapanasati. This is the significant thing. How you see Kaya Anupasana of Satipatthana is being developed then and there. On that occasion, a bhikkhu abides, contemplating the body as a body, ardent, fully aware, and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. I see, when you become mindful of the four steps of Anapanasati, what you have become mindful there? It's about your whole body. Last time we had a point that the body is not the is not the breath, but the whole body. I was agreeing with Dr. Pial with that, because we have that capacity in mind to know the entire body when the mindfulness has been established. Not only the breath as a cycle, but the entire body is well known to the meditator. So it is mentioned here very well. When you become mindful of the four steps of Anapanasati, you have become mindful about the entire body. When you switch, when you understand, when Kayanupasana is developed, when you see that Kayanupasana as a foundation of mindfulness is developed, you see the body, right? So what we discussed last week is, proving here that the body is there, the mindfulness of the body is there with Anapanasati, and then we see the Satipatthana is developing here clearly. So contemplating the body as a body, ardent, fully aware, and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. I say that this is a certain body among the bodies, namely in breath and out breathing. So again, Buddha mentioned here that the breath body is also a body. You could say, but with Satipatthana, what exactly we have in Satipatthana? We have 6 main steps of Kayanupasana of the Satipatthana, including the first one of first tetra of Anapanasati, and then four postures and elements, then clear comprehension. We have 32 body parts. Then we have 9 stages of the dead body and so on. So when you become mindful that Satipatthana, Kayanupasana is developed through the 4 tetra of Anapanasati, it means whole Kayanupasana. Let me tell you this. Now I become mindful about the breath, in-breath and out-breath, and I clearly see both breath, so that I see next that the whole breath is subtle, and therefore I know I can see the whole body. My mind is so calm and peaceful, so that I know that this is the sitting posture, and my body is a combination of 4 great elements. I can see the 32 body parts, and then I can see that this body has been in this posture for a long time. So did you see that some section of Kayanupasana has been addressed very well there? In you started the meditation Anapanasati, but you can see Kayanupasana, some section of Kayanupasana there, because Sutta is very clear that Anapanasati lead us to have Satipatthana. But very important thing is to understand this in our practical meditation. So I'm trying to give you that with my experience, and with your experience you can say it. I will tell you that again. I start meditation on in and out breathing, right? Anapanasati. So then I see I settle down and I take all the important steps to of Anapanasati at the beginning. So now I watch my in-breath and out-breath, keeping my attention in front of over here. And then I feel that the breath is going in long and coming out long. And I can see the subtle changes from long breath to short and so on. And I now feel that breath is going to be deep and calm, and it's not gross as before. So now I can feel the entire body. I see the posture. I see how I feel the everywhere of the body. So isn't this a kind of the mindfulness about the structure of the body? So then I become mindful about the elements. So okay, this body is made up of 4 great elements: Patavi, the solidity, cohesion, and heat and air. You are mindful about that. Then what is the posture you are having? It is sitting posture, Iriyapata of the Kayanupasana. Then you have basically the first one of Kayanupasana, Anapanapabba, the section where we have 4 type of breathing is always there. So do you see that the first Kayanupasana, many section of Kayanupasana is addressed there? So think about it. What I want to emphasize is that now we can see the first foundation of Satipatthana is clear with first tetra of Anapanasati. This is why on that occasion a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body as a body, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. So since you have become mindful about your body through Anapanasati, you are away from grief and covetousness. Abhijja and domanasa are not there, because your mind has been with with the posture, with the physical body, through the breath. The breath has been the channel for you to become mindful about the physical body, the posture, the way you keep, and the structure of the body and everything. Bhikkhus, on whatever occasion a bhikkhu trains his mind, I shall breathe in experiencing rapture, experiencing when he breathe out, when he breathe in and out, he experience rapture. When he breathe out, experience pleasure, and when he breathe out, he experience pleasure. The main thing is rapture, pleasure. They are called actually mental formation, vachi sankara. Then he or she sees the tranquilizing of those mental formation. So in the first, when you practice the second tetra of Anapanasati, what you have, you see the in-breath and out-breath, and at the same time, your prominent focus is piti, rapture, and then sukha, pleasure, and both of them are called vachi sankara, mental formation, and then you are mindful about vachi sankara when in and out breathing happens. So when in and out breathing happens, again you see these mental formation are being tranquilized. So what they are talking about, they are all about feeling. Isn't that the meditator in Vedananupasana? Yes, of course. When he gives much attention to rapture, pleasure, and all these mental formation, he is in Vedananupasana. Let's forget about four foundation of mindfulness. Now you are in the second tetra of Anapanasati. So you are mindful about that gorgeous feeling that you have through Anapanasati. You manage to overcome hindrances. That's why you have piti. Actually, when you come to the second tetra of Anapanasati, you have done with the five hindrances. That's why you have piti. Then you have sukha, pleasure. So they are called mental formation. How mind is constructed in the positive sense is these piti and sukha. So when your mind is away from hindrances, what you have in your mind is piti and also sukha as feeling. Feeling is a category of your mind or a component of your mind. You know this with nama and rupa. When we take nama section, we have five. Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Passa, Manasikara. Feeling, perception, and Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, the intention, and contact, and then thinking. So the first one of the mental components is Vedana, feeling. So therefore, you have these piti and sukha in your mind as feeling. So when you come to the second tetra of Anapanasati, on the other hand, you have developed the Vedananupasana, mindfulness of breathing. So let me read. If you have any question and concern, just ask before you forget them, before you go out of the context, okay? On that occasion, so I don't want to repeat everything. So you have those four, steps of the second tetra of Anapanasati. When you are mindful about all these things, it means on that occasion, a bhikkhu abides contemplating feeling as feeling. Because piti, sukha are feelings. So when you, on that occasion, you are in second, Satipatthana, which is feeling. So you abide, so you dwell. The very important word here is dwell. It means that you live in that. In other words, Satipatthana are not practiced by by those disciples who wants to attain enlightenment. Not only in the sitting posture, they are practiced always. That's why we have the word viharati. So we have to live in Kayanupassana, in Vedananupassana, in Chittanupassana, and in Dhammanupassana always. That's why Buddha used that word viharati. Viharati means you live in that. You live with them, right? Your spirit of living is Satipatthana. It is not a practice that is scheduled for 1 hour or 2 hours or during a particular time period of your day. So that's why Satipatthana is deep. Satipatthana, some part of Satipatthana could be practiced definitely in a short period of time. I don't say that it is impossible, but that type of practice doesn't help us complete the training on Satipatthana. That's why Satipatthana is Ekhainomakko, direct path for such 5 purposes. If you or me do it, definitely we'll have those 5. It is a confirmation from the book. So that viharati, dwell. So when you are mindful about piti, sukha, those mental formation, or when you see those tranquilizing or calming down moment of those mental formation, you are in feeling aggregates. You are in the mindfulness of feeling, and you live in that. That's why Buddha said here. So you are fully aware, and you are ardent on that, and you are mindful, putting covetousness and grief away from your mind. So you see how one crosses mundane life to Supramane. I'm not saying that he or she has already attained to Sotapanna. We do not have that indication here, but still you are crossing over some boundaries, some lines of mundane life. That's why it is mentioned here that you are putting away grief and covetousness, because the mundane world is full of grief and covetousness. Abhijja, domanassa are common qualities of living beings when they live with sensory experiences. But here you are going beyond that. It's a type of crossing over the boundaries of mundane world. So I said that this is a certain feeling among the feelings, namely giving close attention to in and out breathing, in breath and out breath. This is why on that occasion, a bhikkhu abides contemplating feeling as feeling, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. I say that this is a certain feeling among the feelings, namely giving close attention to in breathing and out breathing. So yeah, so why did the Buddha say like that? This is a certain feeling. I say that this is a certain feeling among feelings, because there are other feelings too. Here we have rapture, pleasure, piti, sukha, and everything around that, which means we have sukha vedana, niramisa sukha. Is that all we talk about in the aggregate of feeling? No, we have unpleasant feeling, we have neutral feeling, we have vikitta, sankitta, and there are other feelings in the Satipatthana where we talk about feeling. So here with Anapanasati development, we have type of positive and what do you call niramisa, the renunciated feelings. That's why Buddha said that this is a certain feeling, because you are in the second, you are in jhanic experience, and that's why you have this. In jhana we don't have those feelings. Of course, this is not the person Manapa Vedana, according to the last discourse of Majjhima Nikaya, Indriya Bhavana Sutta, pleasant feeling is about the happiness we get out of seeing, hearing, tasting. And that feeling is not there. This pleasant feeling, this pleasure and sukha are beyond that. This pleasure and sukha are equal to upekka vedana in the Indriya Bhavana. I do not know whether you are aware about that. This is what Indriya Bhavana Sutta says. Manapa Vedana, pleasant feeling is there, unpleasant feeling is there, neutral feeling is there. These three types of feeling are there because we either like what we see, or we dislike what we see, or we do not have dislikeness or likeness for that, but we have a kind of indifference feeling. So this is how the world live with these three feelings. But upekka vedana is not any of these. If upekka vedana, according to the Indriya Bhavana Sutta, the last discourse of Majjhima Nikaya, is beyond these three types of feeling. And now upekka vedana is equal to these piti and sukha here, because piti is gain, piti and sukha as feeling, gain by taking us out of hindrances. So upekka vedana, therefore, upekka vedana in Indriya Bhavana Sutta is equal to in some way equal to piti sukha in Satipatthana. Here, in and out breathing. So it's additional information. The reason why I wanted to tell that is because with the said here, I say that this is a certain feeling among many feelings, among other feelings, because we have unpleasant feeling in the aggregate of feeling and neutral feeling and other type of feeling. So that I wanted to show you that piti sukha and anything around that is a certain type of feeling, basically pleasant feeling, not pleasant feeling that we get out of seeing, hearing, but niramisa piti, not based on anything material. This is immaterial feeling which is positive. So that is about that is the, now we talk about the second tetra of Anapanasati, and we see mindfulness of feeling Vedananupassana in Satipatthana develop with that. Bhikkhus, on whatever occasion a bhikkhu trains thus, I shall breathe in experience in the mind, or some say that, some translations say that sensitive to mind. I shall breathe out experience in the mind. So when you breathe in and breathe out in both occasions, you are clear about your mind. You know about your mind. So your prominent focus is not now anything else but the mind. Just whatever the mind you have. Then I shall breathe in gladdening the mind. I shall breathe out gladdening the mind. I shall breathe in concentrating the mind. I shall breathe out concentrating the mind. I shall breathe in liberating the mind. I shall breathe out liberating the mind. These are the four steps of the third tetra of Anapanasati. So now you know that. So in the third section, third tetra of Anapanasati, there we address the mind. We are mindful about the body first, then the feeling, now the mind. Now one of the things you need to do now while you are listening is to check whether you experience this in your in and out breathing meditation. Have I done this? Have I focused these things? Because that's how you mingle the sutta statement with your practice. If you haven't, so next time you can keep them in mind as knowledge and try to let your attention goes to these things. I don't know how to, teach it for you. We can give some guidance, but it is your main duty to find it. For me, it's not that difficult to go in and see the mind. So while breathing is always there in the background. You know that in-breath is there, out-breath is there. And at the same time, main focus is the mind. Then you see, abhipamodyan chittang, gladdening the mind. So you see that gorgeous, happy. The word I use for you to understand this fact is happy, but we have the word gladdening the mind, which is similar. Happy. You see that gladdening nature, happy nature of your mind. Then you see that it is concentrated, samahitang chittang. So you see that mind has stopped all kinds of worries, and it is here right now. Mind is looking at mind. Then liberating mind. So your mind has been liberated from something that existed before. That is one meaning. And your mind is going to liberate from mind itself, a kind of, because in the next Tetra we have Vipassana. We have some type of Vipassana here as well. But Vipassana is clear, very clear in Anapanasati when we go to the, fourth Tetra. So that liberating type of mind is there, which means you see that mind is also having some sort of ending, some sort of arising and ending, and so forth. So let me go to the statement Buddha made here. On that occasion, so when you have the third tetra of Anapanasati clear in your mind, so on that occasion, a bhikkhu abides contemplating mind as mind, ardent, fully aware, and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. I do not say that there is the development of mindfulness of breathing for one who is forgetful, who is not fully aware. This is why on that occasion, a bhikkhu contemplating mind as mind, ardent, fully aware, and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. So we know what the Buddha is going to say here. Well, before he said, so this is how one become mindful about his mind or her mind, because in Anapanasati steps we address the mind. But very interesting statement here is that I do not say that there is the development of mindfulness of breathing for one who is forgetful, or those who cannot keep their mind in one point due to restlessness and forgetfulness. They cannot develop themselves with this Anapanasati meditation. They can develop their mind with other meditation, but those who have forgetfulness could not be successful in this meditation. Do you see that Anapanasati is not matching for each type of people? It is one of the meditation subjects that can be digested for many characters, but there are some characters who cannot remember things. For example, Chullapantaka, Venerable Chullapantaka, he could not remember one poem for for a long time. His brother Mahapantaka was trying to teach him to remember that one poem, but he failed to teach the brother monk that one poem because his mind was not in that. The kind of memory is also important here, in my understanding. Let's see what do you think later. So the The Anapanasati, the very word Buddha used in Pali is Muttasati. If your mindfulness is muddled and confused, we can say that you meditate on Anapanasati as a statement, but you have to do something else just to get your clear mind, just to get your peaceful mind, right? So Buddha said here that, in other words, in other words, Chittanupassana, if you take Chittanupassana as your meditation, those who cannot remember, those who have forgetfulness as a behavior, you are not taking this Chittanupassana as a primary meditation, because you have to see your mind from your mind, by your mind. It is difficult for many people. We ask people to be mindful about mind, but it is not easily understood because they are unable to see the mind. I don't know whether you get the point. Do you see your mind from your mind when you meditate on your mind? Or you meditate on compassion, let's say. Let's make it simple. Do you see your mind from your mind? Actually, you have to understand things from your mind. Suppose I have 4 elements as my meditation subject. So I start with body. Of course, you have to do it in that way. Then you analyze the body as solid body parts, then water, some body parts that has the nature of water mainly, so that you see the air going in and coming out, so that you see. So isn't this done by our mind? Yes, your mind has been activated. Your mind, intention of your mind has been working well there, just to analyze the. So like that, you investigate your mind by your mind. Chittanupassana is such that you see your mind by your mind. It is not easy for those forgetful people to do it. That's what Buddha means here. Chittanupassana is not a good meditation for people who have that forgetfulness, as well as it is a difficult subject of meditation. Of course, you can meditate. You can come to that level by any subject of meditation when you develop that your mind on that meditation. But as a beginner, it is not a good meditation subject. So Satipatthana, understanding Satipatthana is that difficult in this discourse. When you go to understand how breathing meditation, Anapanasati meditation develops Satipatthana. Otherwise, you're very keen in understanding Satipatthana. I know that, but something seems difficult here in this explanation, because we are trying to see Satipatthana development in Anapanasati. So this is why on that occasion a bhikkhu abides contemplating mind as mind, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. So I quickly go to the next one so that we can have a discussion. So bhikkhus, on whatever occasion a bhikkhu train thus, I shall breathe in contemplating impermanence. I shall breathe out contemplating impermanence. Like that you have, I shall breathe in contemplating fade away. So here in the fourth tetra of Anapanasati, the prominent focus is impermanence, anicca, viraga, fading away, and then nirodha, cessation, and patinissagga, relinquishment. These are the 4 main focuses. So you see that in-breath and out-breath occur as before, but your mind direct itself to investigate that impermanence nature, fading away, and cessation and relinquishing nature of your mind. So your mind has been upgraded into a certain level. Of course, vipassana is talked about here, right? So that is what we have in the fourth tetra of Anapanasati. On that occasion, a bhikkhu abides contemplating mind as mind object, ardent, fully aware, and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. So in Dhammanupassana, what we exactly focus is Dhamma, the thoughts in our mind. If you look at Satipatthana, just forget about Anapanasati. If you look at the Dhammanupassana, what you have? Pancha Nivarana, 5 hindrances. Then Upadana, Upadana, 5 aggregates of clinging. Then 6 sense bases. Then you have 7 factors of enlightenment. Then of course you have 4 noble truth at last in the Mahasatipatthana of Digha Nikaya. Then what I missed, there are 5 things. So anyway, so they are all about mental states. If you take 5 hindrances, they are mental states. If you take padana to 5 aggregates, they are mental states. And if you take 7 factors or for enlightenment, they are mental state. If you take 4 noble truth, they are mental state. They are all mental states. So in Dhammanupassana, what we have, mental states. Earlier, before this 4th foundation, we have minds, categorization of mind. Now we have mental state of those minds. For example, let me tell you this, how to understand mind versus mental states, the difference between mind and mental states. So you go to the vegetable, area where vegetable is available in the market. So that section is called vegetable area. So under one name, you have a lot of vegetables, beans, carrot, brinjal, potato, tomato, and many other things. So the vegetable, that the vegetable, that area name vegetable is just like the mind, right? So when you go into that vegetable area, you have different type of vegetables. So different type of vegetables are like Dhammanupassana. For example, Raga Chitta, right? It is in Chitta Anupassana. Dosa Chitta, angry mind, is in Chitta Anupassana. Lustful mind is Chitta Anupassana. When you comes to when you get into those angry mind and lustful mind, you have different mental states. For example, I am angry now. I am angry now. So my anger, the anger in my mind exists for 5 minutes. During that 5-minute period, I might have lot of thought processes going on. Sometime in that angry mind, I think to hit that person. I think to make a lie to revenge that person. I may be accusing. I may be making plans. So I may be thinking of different things. So in that 5-minute period, I might have been doing a lot of things. But the main recognition for the mind is angry mind. In that angry mind, I may be doing so many things. So that is the difference between Chittanupassana and Dhammanupassana. So they are mental state. So now you feel in-breath and out-breath. At the same time, your prominent focus was impermanence, anicca, aniccanupassi asasissami sikkati. So when you see anicca, isn't that you see the anicca of form, feeling, perception, mental formation, consciousness, mental formation and consciousness? So in that mind of Anapanasati, Chitta, Aniccanupassi, you see the impermanence of your own mind. What you have in your mind is form, feeling, perception, mental formation, consciousness. Right? And in your mind, what you have now is Piti Passaddi. They are all about. So you see the Piti is fading away as well. Because when you comes to Vipassana meditation in in Dhammanupassana, you see that impermanence of your own mind, impermanence of your body, impermanence of those whatever you experience in Anapanasati is investigated. The other day I told you that explaining Dhamma is much more difficult than the practice. In the real practice, you don't have this much complication, definitely. But in order to explain the whole scenario of what happened, we have to say this, but don't worry. We are not making you things complicated, but this is what happened. We are explaining everything together so that you might sometime feel that how hard this meditation, how hard. No, it is not that. So when you practice it, you find easy way. You come across all these things in a beautiful way, so that don't worry about having this analysis. Some people cannot have that type of analysis in explanation. Let me read the last part of this section. So you see that when we become mindful of impermanence in Anapanasati, it is the confirmation that you are in Dhammanupassana. So now you see viraga. Viraga means fading away. You see that you do not want to attach to anything because things are impermanent. So that you see that your mind has viraga sanya. So you don't want to get on with that. You want to renunciate. You want to nissarana. You want to getting out of it. That is the passion you have now in your mind, right? So then you have nirodha. You when you do not attach, when you do not want to stay there at all, there is no beginning, there is no rising of anything. Ending also is clear. So your mind is going away from attachment. Your mind has been gone away from attachment. So that relinquishment, you feel that liberating feeling. You feel that relinquishing, getting out of it. You don't taste it anymore. What you don't taste? Those things that you tasted before. You have kind of confirmation that Nibbana is there. Of course, in my understanding with Anapanasati, in this full form, you have achieved Samma Samadhi with all the details of it, right? So, because with Anapanasati steps, you have entered into Satipatthana, you establish there very well. So with I do not know what to how to say and where in Satipatthana. Suppose Satipatthana is 100, so my Kayanupassana 100, Vedananupassana 100, no, Kayanupassana 25, next 25 is Vedananupassana, next 25, 25 is Chittanupassana, next 25, last 25 is Dhammanupassana. That's how 100 comes. So when you practice Anapanasati in this form, with full form, you have been fully in Satipatthana. Maybe each section, maybe each Satipatthana you have completed more than half. So when you realize that Satipatthana is manifested in your Anapanasati training, you are going to develop that. You are going to develop Satipatthana. So when your mind switching little bit from Anapanasati to Satipatthana, there is nothing harm happen, because you have that ability in your mind to do some extraordinary things. So with Satipatthana, with four foundation of mindfulness, we have the significant change happens. The 7 factors for enlightenment has tremendously begun. That we don't have time to discuss that. We'll take it next time, as I hinted at the very beginning of this discussion, that time would be a factor for us to have it. So it happened. So it is marvelous, friends. I do not know whether you understood the shift from Anapanasati to Satipatthana and so on, but in my understanding, I feel it, I know it. So I tried a lot to say it from my experience, from the text, and I think you get it. If you do not get it, try to get it. So time is to have a discussion. Any concern, of anything I said, or if I didn't address that particular part as you think, please share it with so that everybody is benefited from that. Yes, I can see Janaki has raised her hand. Please take your chance.
Teruan Saranai Bante.
Yeah, issue the same.
I'm trying to find the meaning of this this phrase, parimukkham sating upachapetva, and how I understood that is placing priority on consciousness. Because
say it again.
Placing the consciousness, no, placing priority or giving priority to consciousness of the mind, or consciousness is a part of the mind, because as we know, mind has many functions like thinking, analyzing, inquiry, and maintenance of consciousness, and so many things. So because we are focusing on the breath, in this case, going out and coming in. So what I thought was, because parimukham, it sounds like, you know, the pramukha or the prominence, and sating is something to do with the mind or the consciousness, and upatapetva is something like placing or establishing or something like that. So how I understood that is the placing priority on, or giving priority to consciousness. So because we are all the time, we are aware and we are conscious of what's happening. And then on that it's easier to look at it as the arising and the cessation of the breath. It comes in and then it disappears. We don't know what has happened, and then it goes out and it disappears. So it is a series of arising and cessation of the breath. So it starts with Kayanupassana because it's something to do with it's a bodily activity, and then going through that once someone has come into the tranquility, and as you explained, that priti sukha, or because it should be arrived through the tranquility of the mind, and then can go on expanding that towards the inquiring mind, towards other things like Dhamma and Chitta and Vedana, those things. I mean, I may be wrong. I don't know. I just that's how.
No, it's just good. It's a good question. So your question is about Parimukham Sating. So yeah, this is why we have this confusion sometime whether the Buddha mean a particular place of the body or not, because mukha is the Pali word mukha is also used for used for the face and sometimes the mouth. Yeah. So but we cannot agree with the fact that that is the mouth, definitely, though the Pali word is quite similar to that. But and then the face, whole face, breathing is always happening through nostril, not anywhere else. So in order to emphasize the fact that you should catch the breath, you have to have the type of awareness near nostril somewhere over here, and with the interpretation that Parimukang Sating is the mindfulness or awareness or conscious mind over here would be okay in my understanding if we stick to the primary sources.
Yes.
But what you mention is really interesting, because I don't know what you mean by conscious mind. If you think vinyana, that is wrong, right? So in vinyana is not the conscious mind, right?
No.
So it's a whole lot of discussion again. If you take conscious mind in English language, we say conscious mind is ardent mind, and I kind of mind that is aware, right?
That's right.
If you take that meaning, that is okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think so. So yeah, it is good, because last week I slightly said that I do not want to stick to my mind at into a particular place like nostril or tip of the nose or at the edge of lips or anywhere else, just to take the meditation subject breathing to meditate with that.
That's right. Yes.
So I do not want that. Even with let's say this, I feel the breath by paying attention, not necessarily somewhere over here. Of course, I keep the attention. I look at my body, I look at my nose, I look at my face very clearly. I say that, but I do not want to keep the attention at a particular place of the body just to be mindful of the breath, because the mind is conscious about that breathing is taking place.
Yes, that's right.
The problem arises because when you come to the third and fourth step of the first tetra, tranquilizing bodily formation, you do not feel that in-breath and out-breath as before, because it has been subtle.
Yes.
Some people say that, Bhante, we do not feel the breath anymore. Is that a problem? So in those situations, even if they pay attention to the nostril, they don't feel the breath.
No.
Right? But what they need to have then is that they should be aware that breathing is taking place. In that case, conscious mind should be there about the breath just to continue your meditation.
Yes.
So that's why I like that what you said, because conscious mind or kind of attentive mind about breathing is taking place should be there. It is not happening when only one attain to Sanya Vedeta Nirodha. Because when you attain to Sanya Vedeta Nirodha, you stop breathing. Therefore, no sense of breathing at all in the mind of that particular person, because he or she stopped the breathing cycle completely. Yes, so yeah, but we cannot say that some people should focus the tips of the nose and whatever places they are comfortable with, because we are not such monks like Sariputta or Ananda or Buddha to deny some practices. Some people do, because if they say that this is working for us, of course go with that. But we are sharing our own experiences and interpretation, and we do not want to harm anyone else, because those are maybe true for them, and if they say that they overcome negativities by doing that way, so the case is being done, right? So I interested on what you said with that. So Parimukang Sating could be for you is that sensation of the breath not necessarily putting your attention over somewhere, nostril or lips, but still the fact that is that breathing is taking through those tunnels.
Yes, that's right. Yes, it's
so,
a bodily activity, and then when it becomes very, very subtle, but that does not mean that you're not breathing, but it becomes very slow, and mostly it is happening at the cellular level within the body, because you don't need so much of energy for the maintenance of your body. That's
indeed. So suppose you are giving a lecture online while drinking water. So you have enough practice to drink water without thinking of drinking water.
Yes.
So you walk down back and forth by calling somebody. You don't want to pay attention to your step because the path is very level and no uneven places. So you walked, and it happens over there. Your prominent focus is calling, and maybe not selecting words either. The fact you want to discuss with the other is the prominent focus. So you are not mindful about your clothes, you are not mindful about your steps, you are not mindful about the telephone, you are not mindful about sentence patterns, the verbs you use, but you are mindful only about the facts.
Yes.
This example is taken just to show that you do not want to be mindful completely about your breath once you get into some level. That's why we have piti, sukha, and other things are of our feeling and mind are coming to prominent places, because we have gone through that basic level. So what I wanted to tell is that parimukkhang sati should be there at the very beginning, but later on we don't want that. We have gone through that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Thank you very much,
So you are welcome. If I have missed anything, or if I do not explain anything well, so anybody can communicate. I think Dr. Pial is going to say something.
I think we should not get hung up in this parimukkhang sati too much, because Ajahn Brahm says that otherwise we get boxed into a term. So Ajahn Brahm says, make your breath as a primary focus, put it in front of you, pretty much, just right in front. So breath, I think that's what it means to be the primary focus, breathing. So I think that makes sense. I mean, after that, you don't want the nostril or whatever you do, just put it in front of you, pretty much primary focus. I think that's what it means in general meaning of that. That's what Ajahn Brahm says. And number two is, I think, Bhante, it's a small error when you said kaya sankara. You said vachi sankara. I think it's more like a chitta sankara.
Indeed. Chitta sankara.
Chitta sankara, the priti sukha is chitta sankara, or is sanya vedana belongs to chitta sankara, but that's not a big issue. But
that's true. I felt that that I did something, said something not appropriate, but I could not think about it at that time. I felt that it's chitta sankara. Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay. The number three is, I was thinking of this. You mentioned about the priti sukha in a way of feeling, right? But this feeling is independent of the five senses. The five senses feeling, which is we are generally, essentially what you're doing is we are trading the inferior pleasures of the five senses with a higher sense of jhana pleasure in the mind pleasure, mind sense. In other words, the feeling priti sukha is the rapture or bliss, depending on the sixth sense, the mind. But we drop the five senses at that certain point, because you don't want to enjoy your inferior pleasure. You're already on a higher pleasure, right? And that's easy. So you can develop nibbida, like disenchantment, dispassion towards the sensory pleasures, and maybe it will help with the sensory restraints further down the road with this meditation itself. Does it make sense? I believe.
Yeah, indeed. If you go to the first one, you said, we don't want to hang on some words, but if you do not have enough understanding, you stay with some words, but later on you experience that I shouldn't go with some words anymore, and should focus the essence of it. So I think our friend did not know about the clear meaning, as she had thought about it, but she want to clear. Yeah, that's a very good advice for everyone. Sometimes there are some words that that are difficult in meaning as well as in practical sense. Do not bother too much about them, because we have different ways to go. And then with the second one, you explained that it's Chitta Sankara. Yes, it should be Chitta Sankara. And when you comes to the third point you mentioned, indeed, the happiness you get out of five senses, of course, it is the mind experience that. But when you come to this level with rapture and pleasure, piti sukha, that is very superior, very wholesome happiness, and you don't want to hang on to inferior pleasures, definitely. So isn't this showing that that happiness the feeling of through Anapanasati is addressing some positive Niramisapiti. So in Satipatthana feeling section, we have all kinds of feeling mentioned, right? The one who take other subject of meditation and go through Satipatthana, there should be unhappiness as well to address. Look at Bodhisattva in his training. He had that unpleasant feeling because he had been testing many things. But when you take Anapanasati as your meditation, you make your progress well and come to Vedananupasana. There you have only pleasant feeling. Let me tell you in other words, we have to make sure that we are doing well at the very beginning of Anapanasati meditation. If we do not do it well at the very beginning, we cannot go to the levels like piti sukha of Anapanasati at all, because we somehow struggle with breath, and then mind goes everywhere, and then try to take it back, and then we have pains in our legs and back, and then we are easily disturbed by different sounds. Minor insignificant sound also disturb us. So if we do not work on the primary steps, basic steps in Anapanasati, we may not be able to go and experience those higher superior feeling like rapture and pleasure. So we have to make sure the basic steps works well, so that your mind is in a perfect positions to have rapture as well as experience it. So this is why some people are to say that Kaya Anupasana is easier than Vedana Anupasana, and Chitta Anupasana is much more difficult than both Kaya Anupasana and Vedana Anupasana, or Dhamma Anupasana is much difficult because of these subtleties of Dhammanupasana, Chittanupasana, and Vedananupasana. So therefore, a lot of people stay much longer period in Kayanupasana because they do not know what to do with the Vedananupasana and Chittanupasana and Dhammanupasana. Lack of energy, lack of the way to go forward would be the reason for them to do that. But as you know now that this is how this could happen, so you can break through. So thank you very much for your addition. That is very useful. I agree. I totally agree with what you said in the third point. Very wonderful. Anyone with anything? It's 9:20. So if you do not have anything, we'll go to.
Just a quick question. What did you say about the mind versus mental states? Is it mind versus mental states?
Yeah.
Just quickly, Swaminathan.
Yeah, because what you see in Chitta-Anupassana is the categorization of Chitta, like Sadosan Chittang, Sadosan Chittang Pajanati, Samohan Chittang, Lobha Chitta, and Mahagga Tamaga. So you can see that mind has been categorized depending on the nature of mind. Like if there is anger, it's angry mind. If there is lobha, there is prominent thing of the mind is lobha, then it's lobha mind.
Okay.
So it's a kind of what do you call identity of the mind.
Right.
But look at Dhammanupassana. Okay. In that the Buddha talks about 5 hindrances, upadana, then ayatana, then you have 7 factors for enlightenment, you have 4 noble truths, and so on. They are all, some you have negative minds, negative thoughts like hindrances, upadana, they are defilements.
Right.
And 7 factors for enlightenment and 4 noble truths. In 4 noble truths, you are not talking about only good things. You talk about suffering, you talk about all the jara, vyadhi, but you have sammaditi, samma sankappa, samma vacha, and all the good procedures as well. So they are all mental things.
That's quite interesting.
We have to investigate that. Don't believe my word. Don't just see whether it is true.
That's right.
So that's why Dhamma discussion is really important. Sometimes we cannot think everything in our own. We have to get the help from somebody else. That's why Kalyana Mitra support is really, really important.
Yes.
During the time of the Buddha, if not Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Ananda, Venerable Moggallana, Kassapa, Mantaniputta, Mahakottita, I think many monks could not understand the subtleties of those important facts. They discuss them over and over again, making others to simplify those terms for them.
Right. But everyone's experience is different and unique.
Indeed. Yeah.
And also, like, another quick question, if you have time. Very quick question. Can I ask that?
Why not?
You mentioned about Swaminathan about like going away from the mundane world while meditating. Did you?
I said yes.
Yes, yeah.
But not because if we take only meditation, some people they say that they go to 1 hour meditation and they are going away from mundane world.
It's not like that. It's through practice.
It's not, but a lot of people who meditate stay in mundane world.
Right.
But when we say that we go from mundane experience to supramundane, it's a shift of your mind from at least 5 hindrances, from 5 hindrances to those jhanic experiences. If you want to cross over the mundane experience,
right,
just deal with the 5 hindrances. Then you are in the first jhana. It's a kind of first step of a beautiful journey towards supramundane world.
Okay.
That is what we have in Chulahatti Padopama Sutta. If you want to see the big elephant, right, you have to first see the normal sign, kind of sign of the footstep of elephant, and the person who knows about elephant knows that this is a big footstep, but it may not be the biggest one's footstep. So in that simile, in that discourse, Buddha said that to me personally, you can see the magnificent nature of the Buddha when only you get into first jhana, because you see how Buddha great is when you are in first jhana, because of that pleasure, that joy, that super experience.
Exactly. you cannot express through words. You can describe
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Thank you, Somnath, sir. I got it.
You're welcome. So it's close to 9:30, so we have to stop because I'm going to begin another discussion at 10:30 for 2 hours with some friends from Sri Lanka. So before that, I get ready for to do some things at the temple. So that I have to finish this discussion, and I wish you good sleep, and if possible, do some meditation just to check what we discuss. And I wish you, by the power of these merits, you develop yourself in this discussion. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. May the entire world be away from the deadly coronavirus, and it is our blessings for everyone. So may the deities be well, happy, and peaceful. May the entire world be peaceful. May you all finally, I wish may you all attain nirvana by the power of these wholesome thoughts, wholesome actions you do now. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.